Cowboys Nation, let's talk about what's really going on right now, because it feels like the entire fan base just got knocked to the pavement. Everyone's bruised, frustrated, and tired of watching this team underperform. But finally, the Dallas Cowboys made a move that at least shows some life, some awareness that things need to change. They didn't just sit around licking their wounds and hoping the storm would pass. Nope, they picked up the phone and pulled the trigger on a trade. And this could be the first of a few that start turning things around for this defense that has been getting torched week after week. So yeah, the Cowboys traded for Cincinnati Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson, and honestly, I don't understand why some people are even complaining. This is not one of those flashy, desperation-type moves. This is smart business. You give up a 7th-round pick for a guy who's proven he can play at a high level, who's still got years left on his contract, and who can actually help fix one of the biggest problems on your roster right now, the linebacker position. Logan Wilson has been one of the most consistent tacklers in the league. The man has recorded over 100 tackles in each of the last 3 seasons, and in the year he missed that mark, he was only a couple short. He's solid in coverage, he's disciplined against the run, and he brings something this defense has been desperate for, reliability. And yet, here come the same old voices. The ones who cry all season about how Jerry Jones never makes any moves, but then turn around and get mad when he actually does. You can't have it both ways. If you're a Cowboys fan, you should want this team to keep improving year-round, not just pack up and quit halfway through the season because you're hurt and disappointed. That kind of mentality, that just give up attitude, is exactly what separates real contenders from franchises that fold at the first sign of trouble. What frustrates me most is seeing how some fans praise other general managers like Howie Roseman up in Philadelphia for making 1,000 moves, even though only a few of them actually work out. People act like every trade the Eagles make turns to gold. But when the Cowboys make a smart, low-risk move for a legitimate starter, suddenly it's a problem. Come on. Logan Wilson isn't some random practice squad pickup or a reclamation project who couldn't find his way onto a roster. He's a guy who earned a second contract with the team that drafted him. That alone tells you he's a real player. This is exactly the kind of acquisition Dallas has needed to make. You can't fix every hole on your roster in one offseason. You've got to keep improving, keep building, keep finding ways to get better as the season goes on. And this move does that. It's not flashy, but it's meaningful. It's a signal that the front office still cares, that they're not just sitting on their hands waiting for next year. Because let's be real, if you're waiting for the offseason to fix everything, you're already too late. You don't know who's going to be available then. You fix what you can now, while the opportunity's there. Logan Wilson's under contract through 2027, so this isn't some rental situation. This isn't a maybe he helps us for a few weeks kind of move. This is about stability, about getting a player who can help both now and later. He brings experience, leadership, and most importantly, production. If you're tired of watching linebackers miss tackles and look lost in coverage, then you should be happy about this trade. Now, nobody's saying Wilson alone is going to save this defense. He's not Superman, but he can be part of the solution. Pair him with a healthy Damone Clark, and suddenly that linebacker room starts to look a little more competent. Add in some secondary help later, maybe another move or two, and you're actually addressing problems instead of just complaining about them. That's what real team building looks like. Not waiting for a miracle, but grinding and tweaking piece by piece until things start clicking. And let's be honest here, the fans need to chill with the doom and gloom. The season might not be going the way everyone hoped, but that doesn't mean you just burn everything down. You don't throw away half a year because you're mad about a couple of losses. You don't stop trying to improve just because you think the playoffs are out of reach. That's not how winning organizations operate. The teams that stay competitive are the ones that make moves like this, even when things look bleak. That's what separates the serious franchises from the ones that live off excuses. Jerry Jones and the front office have taken plenty of heat, and deservedly so at times. But this move deserves credit. This is exactly what fans have been begging for. Action. A real attempt to improve the defense with proven talent. And what do they get in return? Complaints. Complaints from the same people who, 2 weeks ago, were screaming that Dallas never does anything to get better. It's exhausting. If we're keeping it real, the Cowboys' recent drafts have been hit or miss. Some picks have been great, others not so much. That's football. So if you can turn a 7th-round pick, which, let's be honest, rarely turns into a starter, into a legitimate player who can contribute immediately. Why wouldn't you do it? That's smart management. That's taking advantage of value when it presents itself. And that's another thing people seem to forget. Not every trade needs to be some massive blockbuster. Sometimes the little, smart, quiet moves are the ones that actually matter. Because you're not just adding a body, you're adding competition. You're sending a message to the locker room that no one's job is safe, that performance matters. That's the kind of culture shift that can spark improvement, even late in a tough season. But instead of recognizing that, too many fans are stuck in this emotional loop where everything the Cowboys do is wrong, no matter what. They cry when the front office stays quiet. They cry when the front office takes action. It's like some people don't even know what they want anymore. They just want to be mad. But that's not how you build a winning team. You build it by staying engaged, staying proactive, and not letting disappointment turn into apathy. Look, I get it. Everyone's frustrated. I was at the game too. I felt that pain firsthand. But being mad doesn't mean you stop wanting improvement. You can be angry and still want the team to keep fighting. That's the difference between passion and defeatism. Passion fuels change. Defeatism just keeps you stuck. The Cowboys aren't waving the white flag, and neither should the fans. Moves like this show there's still effort, still a pulse, still a belief that things can get better. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about doing something about it. You can't rebuild confidence overnight, but you can start laying the foundation brick by brick, and Logan Wilson is one of those bricks. So if you're one of the fans who thinks the season's already over and the team should just stop trying, I've got news for you. That's not how football works. You don't quit on November. You don't shut down your team because your feelings are hurt. You keep improving. You keep fighting. Because every move you make now, every improvement you secure today, makes you stronger tomorrow. And when next season comes around, the teams that kept working through the pain are the ones ready to strike. The Cowboys need to keep that mindset. No closing up shop, no playing it safe, no procrastinating till the offseason. They need to keep grinding, keep adding, keep looking for ways to make this roster better right now. And as fans, that's what we should want to see. That's the mentality of a team that refuses to die quietly. What this move really represents, Cowboys Nation, is something that this franchise has been missing for a long time. Urgency. Not panic, not chaos, but real urgency. It's the acknowledgement that sitting around waiting for things to magically fix themselves never works in the National Football League. The Cowboys have spent too many seasons pretending that continuity alone would solve everything, that just believing in the same players year after year would lead to a breakthrough. But the truth is, football doesn't reward comfort. It rewards teams that adapt, adjust, and act when they see a problem. And that's exactly why the addition of Logan Wilson matters. It's not about the name, it's about the message. The Cowboys saw a hole in the middle of their defense, saw a chance to improve it with a proven player who's still in his prime, and they moved. That's what winning organizations do. They don't wait until they're eliminated to realize what went wrong. They get proactive, they tinker with the roster, they make those uncomfortable decisions that eventually pay off. But here's where some fans are missing the point. This isn't just about saving this season. It's about building the next one the right way. Because when you acquire a guy who's under contract for multiple years, you're not just patching a leak. You're reinforcing the foundation. You're giving the next defensive coordinator, whoever that might be, better tools to work with. You're laying down the groundwork so that when this team finally turns the corner, it's not starting from scratch again. That's how real franchises stay relevant. They never stop stacking improvements, no matter how small they might seem. Too many people think the trade deadline is just for contenders. That's the wrong way to look at it. The trade deadline is for teams that still have pride, that still care about the product they're putting on the field. You don't quit because the standings aren't where you want them to be. You make the most of every opportunity to improve, even if that improvement doesn't pay off until next year. Because momentum in football isn't just about wins and losses, it's about mindset. When the locker room sees the front office working to get better, it sends a message: we're not done. We're not quitting on you. That matters more than people think. Now, let's talk about the fit, because Logan Wilson isn't just another name to fill a spot. He's a disciplined tackler, a player who reads offenses well, and he's got the instincts that the Cowboys' defense has been lacking. Watch his tape. The man doesn't hesitate. He diagnoses plays quickly, he sheds blocks, and he finishes. That's something Dallas desperately needs right now, especially with how inconsistent the tackling has been all year. He can handle coverage responsibilities, drop into zones, and still deliver in run support. That kind of versatility gives the defense options, and options are exactly what Dan Quinn's system thrives on. And yeah, I know some of you are rolling your eyes, saying, one linebacker isn't going to change everything. You're right, he won't. But that's not the point. The point is accumulation. You fix things piece by piece, not all at once. This defense doesn't need one savior. It needs a few steady, competent players who know their job and execute it. That's how you rebuild a unit's confidence. That's how you stop the bleeding. The reality is, there's still a lot of football left, and while the postseason might feel distant, every game from here on out is about establishing identity. Are you a team that folds when adversity hits, or are you a team that fights to get better? Because that's what defines a culture. The teams that keep grinding even when the odds are long are the ones that set themselves up for something better later. That's what the Cowboys need to remember, and what fans need to understand. This idea that you just wait for the offseason to fix everything is a losing mentality. You don't wait to address problems, you tackle them head on. If you've got the chance to bring in someone who can help now, you do it. You don't procrastinate. You don't hope the problem magically disappears. That kind of thinking is exactly why this team has come up short so many times in the past. The great organizations treat every month, every week, like an opportunity to evolve. That's what separates them. And it's not just on the front office, it's on the players too. Moves like this are a wake-up call. It tells everyone in that locker room that no spot is guaranteed, that if you're not performing, there's someone out there who can take your place. That competition brings out the best in professionals. It forces them to sharpen up, to take pride in every snap. That's what this team has been missing, that edge. So when you see Dallas actually going out and making these moves, instead of mocking it or finding something to complain about, maybe take a second to recognize progress when it's in front of you. Because this is how it starts. Change doesn't always come with fireworks and headlines. Sometimes it starts with a small, smart trade that improves your weakest link. And from there, you keep stacking. One fix here, another there. Before you know it, you've built something stronger than you had before. Fans keep comparing everything to what Philadelphia does, like Howie Roseman is some kind of miracle worker. But even he knows that not every trade will be a home run. The secret is volume and persistence. He keeps swinging until he finds what sticks. The Cowboys are finally starting to adopt that same philosophy, and that's a good thing. It's not about copying anyone. It's about refusing to settle. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. In what could be one of the most shocking twists of the NFL offseason, whispers are growing louder out of Dallas that the Cowboys have pulled off a move no one saw coming, signing defensive legend Aaron Donald to ignite a once-dominant pass rush. While official confirmation remains elusive, insiders close to both camps have hinted that the three-time Defensive Player of the Year has agreed to terms with the Cowboys, setting the football world ablaze with speculation. If true, this move would mark one of the boldest front office plays in recent NFL memory. The Cowboys, long searching for a spark after their defensive line's inconsistency in recent seasons, might have found their missing piece. Donald, even after flirting with retirement rumors, remains a force of nature. A player whose mere presence can change the rhythm of a game and elevate an entire defense. Sources suggest Dallas front office has been quietly pursuing Donald for weeks, seeing him as the cornerstone of a win-now strategy built around Micah Parsons and the young defensive core. One league insider described the potential pairing as borderline unfair, envisioning a nightmare scenario for opposing quarterbacks facing both Parsons and Donald collapsing the pocket from all angles. Fans, naturally, are losing their minds. Social media lit up overnight with mock-ups of Donald in the iconic star helmet, and local radio in Dallas has been buzzing non-stop with talk of Super Bowl aspirations. This could be the piece that puts us over the top, one fan said, echoing a sentiment heard all across Texas. Still, with no official statement yet from the Cowboys or Donald's camp, the rumor mill keeps spinning. Could this be another off-season mirage, or the dawn of a new defensive era in Dallas? If the whispers prove true, the Cowboys may have just turned their biggest off-season question mark into their greatest strength. One thing's certain, If Aaron Donald really is heading to Dallas, the NFC better start paying attention, because the Cowboys' defense might be about to become the most feared unit in football once again. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.